Well, good morning as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful morning, November 23rd, Saturday morning, here with the Hello Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, Francis Ann, and then, of course, the likes of you out there to make it your business to enhance and fortify this wonderful concept called public access. Here with us this morning, it's strange that I should say I hardly know the guy that we're having here this morning with us, but Ryan Duff is here with us. First of all, Ryan, I'm very impressed that you made it this Saturday morning here with us with your motorcycle while it's raining. So the level of commitment here is nothing shy of impressive. It's interesting that all we had is an encounter or two by way of conversation in a gathering three that left an impression. And one thing I can tell you all about my guest is he's definitely a conversation person. And since this show is all about interaction and the meaning behind that, which is going to create more civility on top of what we need as a community and just as a group of people being together. So, first of all, Ryan, thank you so much for showing up this morning. And all I intend to do with you is decipher that which we were not aware yet that we're going to. So maybe a few words about Ryan.
My name's Ryan Duff, as you know. I am from Montauk. I was born in Southampton, so local born and bred. And I am a welder by trade, printmaker by degree, a musician.
Maybe get the mic closer to you.
All right. Is that better?
Yes.
Repeat myself?
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
My name is Ryan Duff. I'm local here in Montauk, the East End, born at Southampton, a welder by trade, a printmaker by degree, a musician on the side, and any and all projects I'm happy to take on.
And my recollection about our conversation and about the human condition, about the psyche that governs our day-to-day life, and it was interesting that I didn't know you at all. And when we started talking, we already found ourselves in the middle of the conversation. I don't know if you remember that, but I like the fact that I sit across from someone I don't know, and we can talk about things that usually people have to feel kind of close to one another as a condition to do that. If you know what I mean.
Well, we feel close,
so
obviously.
so just the relationship between what it is that we need to survive to how much effort we put into it, and what is it that we need to kind of, as far as interacting with people, as far as maybe while we're doing it. Like, for example, I believe as an artist, and I know that you're an artist in more than one capacity. Um, it's so crucial to understand that every time we have the brush in our hand and create that brush stroke, or have the musical instrument and make the first sound, or have the pad and write the first line of the poem, it's really enhancing and increasing the chances of the code of survival here as a society. And we can see it through all the wars and the aggression and the violence of the history of mankind. There was always those who initiated that were art lovers.
Okay.
And they would go the extra mile to loot the art, preserve the art, guard the art, kill for the art. And stories from Auschwitz where those who used to kill on a daily basis found out that there's a pianist that used to be their teacher in
Start
days
crying,
of
right?
and then they would do everything in their powers to save his life or her life. So these are the kind of things that I like to discuss with people, like the evaluation of the extent of how much really we can do to so we can benefit from it. So it's not you, it's you and 75 other million individuals in the world are doing the same.
Yes, I think that when you do pick up the implement, whatever it might be, or just your hands, you are attempting to express something deep within you. Either a question you have or an emotion, a feeling, and doing so is an honest approach, and it becomes that honest interaction that people will then gravitate towards. And speaking of people committing atrocities and doing all they can to preserve the art, they do
To
have
loot it first.
by any means, seemingly.
By any means, good.
That it touches something in everybody, or they find something to relate to, a beauty that they either miss or desire or wish to attain.
Yeah.
To somehow try and captivate, or it captivates them to then contain it, either for themselves or for their public or the rest of the world. They want it out there.
Yeah. So do you think that your role in society, in relationship to how much effort you put to survive, is serves another purpose, higher purpose that you can? I mean, when you look at the whole picture, I mean, do you see yourself an influencer in that scenario?
What do you mean by survive?
Just survive, just wake up in the morning and think that it makes sense to continue pushing forward and living and and doing good by others, and maybe if something that you think needs change, maybe you can find yourself to be the right person to contribute to that and to increase the chances of survival, meaning um, maybe it's not a good word, maybe I should say just kind of make it survive the day. I mean, I have 5 kids, so I always this is the code of conduct for me.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. From now it's 5:45 when I wake up. So I yearn to reach the 8:30 p.m. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha. The light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, and then that's my kind of my own personal intimate victory. But do you see yourself outside the picture of what it is that you need to do, only to survive, only to have enough of the ingredients to?
I guess that's where the term starving artist would come from, was that all necessity is, I guess, bare necessity is taken care of to create a vision. So I would think for myself, the idea is, to cover the bases, to be not too comfortable, to allow creativity to have that friction, I guess, to influence creativity. And survival is a strong word, but it does. Yeah, I feel like personally, I'm working towards the goal of expressing my experience, what I know, or what I don't know yet, what I'm trying to attain out of a life, out of a lifetime, and everything else is a means to feed that. And what's nice is that can change over the course of it will change over the course of your life. Your perspective will change. Your mediums might change.
So like when you have when you go to work, I mean, how much of a portion of this, while you have to weld or whatever it is that you do, that you really consider your passion as an artist? Like, do you think about the things that you're going to do when you're done with work, or do you use some of this time in order to maybe be more efficient? So when you get to the point where you can do the thing that you really love, you're really ahead of yourself, so to speak.
I would say
and there's a reason why I'm asking this question.
Okay. Personally, set myself up to be in creative fields, to never lose the, I guess, the play of creativity, to not have I can't imagine having a job that I am not creative or do not like, and then having to somewhat suffer through that daily, only to then go home and try and rejuvenate creativity. So yes, throughout the days, it's nice to constantly. It could just be focusing on precision. It could be focusing on hand-eye coordination. Um, that all those two aspects do aid in the creative pursuits after 5.
And what I notice is that a lot of people find themselves in a situation, in a reality that they kind of uh, 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 ended up uh, just because uh, they wanted to let life unfold as it may,
Mm-hmm.
and then before you know it, they're kind of caught in a scenario that is somewhat comfortable, but not exactly reflects who they are.
Right.
And then we end up as a society, we end up with people that with wasted potential because they're just kind of, and I don't blame them. We want to do well, we want to succeed, but we want also to be able to express ourselves. But the chances to prevail, like you say, starving artist. I was raised to believe. I remember the first attempt that I was 9 years old, and I was trying to carve something with a screwdriver and a hammer and a piece of plywood. And my father, that was a very enlightened person, I mean, definitely not stupid, looked at me because he was going in and out, and I was in the yard, and he was kind of looking at me every time he goes in until he uttered his opinion and said, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And only this with his face expression of "What are
Right.
you doing?" in this
Disgusted
just
almost.
engraved a trauma
Mm-hmm.
in my heart.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It was like I found out later that indeed that's the case because I was wondering. Even when I was young and good looking and talented and everything, I always thought like I'm the ugliest, and people looking at me and pointing at me, "Oh, this loser is coming in," or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Some terrible things, disproportional to reality. So therefore, maybe that influenced me to believe that maybe if the opportunity comes and I can have somewhat of a comfortable daily life and earn enough money, then I should just be happy with it and not necessarily strive to change the world. I mean, do you see it this way sometimes when you look around at your friends or even strangers for that sake?
Well, you said earn enough money to be comfortable.
That's more than a little bit, no?
uh,
Sorry, I forgot to mention that it takes a lot to do that. I mean,
seemingly,
5 jobs.
yeah. um, I would think.
It's not a must that we won't be able to survive if we decide to be an artist and earn a living this way,
No, but it's not. It's not made easy, and it, I guess, yeah,
And the
it never.
alternative is not easy either.
Well, when you say sacrifice, that is, it can be, I guess, a big fork in the road. Do you choose monetary ideal comfort? Hopefully, you can achieve that, or let's just say your passion. It could be baking, it could be weaving, it could be music, art, dance, theater, anything. Um, so it, it is a fork, but waiting for that opportunity, I guess, regardless of what it is never it's never going to happen. It's waiting for the perfect moment to pick up the paintbrush or the chisel, and that will that most likely will never happen. No one's going to hand it to you, right? So um, if you make enough money to have a studio space, be comfortable, everyone around you is okay. You've it's not a wasted time, but that was your choice. That was your priority, and it can separate you from your uh, passion as a child, your desire to create, and I guess could regret that, and that's kind of the lesson to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That we only have so much energy to put out in the day and subsequently our whole life. So what you choose to focus on or strive for, you have to live with that.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
not, that does sound kind of negative, but by no means is it.
But yeah, but I think that we need like a whisper in our ears from whomever to tell us.
Well, that's there already.
Yes, and then even the most vague, adamant act can run deep into how it influences us. Someone. When I started in '97, I wanted someone to tell me, "Hey, I didn't want someone to tell me why you're doing this or that. I wanted someone to tell me." Since I see that there is a potential, I may suggest that but that's wishful thinking, the utmost it can be. But that's why when people used to tell me about, why are you creating so much art, so this thing about quantity always lingered above my head, that spelled something negative. Like if it's too much, if it's a lot, then it's too much, then it leads to up to no good. This is the translation.
Well, then it's a waste.
Yeah, like why? Or you could just do less and therefore create more of a quality work. So I took the two and I benefited from them without them intending for me to benefit from it, and saying, well, I can do a lot and I can do quality at the same time.
Okay.
So quantity equals quality. So I had to figure it out for myself, to defend myself from the unprofessional critics of people that don't know much about anything, but they just go all over the place and
but they do.
Yeah,
it is something to offer.
Yeah, I mean, if I go to, let's say, an art show, I'm not shy of suggesting something to an artist that might crush him.
Right.
But maybe give him a warning that it comes out of love and maybe he can benefit from it. I remember I went to one of the openings and there was this artist that just was so willing to go out of his way to explain his art. And he was telling stories, and then I couldn't help myself but hearing, because he was loud also. And I realized he's just repeating himself in some type of a chunky statements kind of thing and all this. But you won't believe it, and I didn't believe it. I at some point said, I have to talk to this guy. And I was dreading doing it because I know I'm going to have to tell him the truth. So I came to him in a friendly fashion and I said, I guess you really love to speak about your art, huh? Just like that. That's how I started. I wasn't sure whether it's a good beginning or not. And I said, if I may break the news to you, that will be constructive from beginning to end to you. Your art is so excellently good, but it's only good as far as the background of your potential painting to be, that is not existing in what I see here.
That means through story, or
the painting. That means
yes.
I heard what he was talking about. I said, you're absolutely right. I overheard you, and you're absolutely right with your description. But you forgot to tell them that the painting is not finished. That it's just because you're the artist and you can make decisions, so you decided to show it now prematurely, which is okay.
I see. Okay.
Which is okay. But at least tell them, I'll invite you in 6 months from now, and then you'll see what I mean. So he said he was kind of shocked, but he was admitting, he said, and nobody ever approached me and talked to me like that. Ever, he said.
That's
and I said, is it good or bad?
No, it's good, I think.
No, I asked him, is it good or bad? But I don't think when I left, like, to whatever, I don't think he was left with the feeling like, oh, well, you know what, this is a food for thought. But I didn't care. I just kind of let it out because I did something that I wish that someone would have done for me if I was to be at the time.
In a critique
yeah. But that also kind of leads to, like, for example, if you speak of politics, I don't like speaking about politics. I like to speak about the psyche as a society that causes us to be tolerant, intelligently considerate, and so much more, as just human qualities, more like it. So that means it doesn't matter who you are, what you think. If you have these basic qualities, then it's a guarantee that we can do well together.
Right.
So that means if you come to an art show, you want to kind of take a deep breath and maybe start by examining what, technically speaking, it took for this individual to create that. Not necessarily think about subject matter, composition, relationship between color and shape and placement or whatever. You want to just say, shoot, I won't be able to do that.
Hmm.
That's so much work. So I would expect that you would evaluate the amount of work into it that will be translating itself to your disability to do it yourself if you were to choose to do it. So that's a good place to start. But don't you think, like for example, now that if you cannot go into town, even though our town is super liberal,
Hmm.
and just say "Long live the Republic" or something like that, or whatever, for whatever, even as a joke, you will be crushed. You will be ridiculed. And you will be accused of treason or something. I don't know,
Oh, a
whatever.
little, yeah.
I'm just saying, how do I approach someone and say, uh, maybe we should both take a crash course together,
Right.
stand in front of a painting, and see what it means to have the proper tolerance to examine and to qualify to be the critics that will help people.
I don't think the art. I would, if I may, go back just a little bit. Um, you were talking about the amount of work that you did and this individual painting, showing his painting prematurely. I
Yes,
think that,
but being convinced that it's completed.
well, that it's worth showing.
Yeah.
The I find now that people want everything immediately, right? That would be beating a dead horse if I went into that. But the idea of sending things out, getting things out to the public, to screens before it's finished, previews, sneak peeks, teasers, all these things don't actually add up to. I don't believe the quality work where the patience in holding on to it until it's done, until it's complete, is far more valuable than getting the half finished piece out. Where, yes, it's almost done. What do you think of it? As opposed to, here's my complete
Or maybe
work.
just keep to yourself. You don't have to
We'll keep to
externalize
your,
you. I,
yes, but if you're going to show it, you would, I would like to have patience to wait for the completion. But while you're taking years to complete, other people are releasing things daily,
okay.
weekly,
Yeah.
and I might feel um, that I am missing the mark. I'm missing the point of be it validation or notoriety.
So, do
And
you consider yourself an artist, even though you're not a full-time artist? Is that something that stands in your way to feel as one?
when anyone's asked that, I say no. I don't. I would imagine. I don't know what an artist is. I guess a full time, when you can
Well, I mean,
survive, when you can live comfortably on your art. But
no, a full-time artist is that you feel that this is important enough to describe it this way.
if to use that framework, then I mean, I still don't. I don't want to say yes.
So, spending more time will increase the meaning behind your investment of time, so to speak.
Spending.
Does it have a direct relationship between your perception of yourself as a creative individual against the time that you put into it?
I think the time that you put into it has to be. It has to come to a completion before it should be released. Um, I could be
Completion of the entire process, or just ingredients in the process as you go along as an
into
evolutionary
into
process?
the body of work,
Okay.
be it a painting or a series. Um, the Mona Lisa wasn't. This is cheap on my part, but I doubt it was shown before it was finished, if shown at all. I don't know if the Sistine Chapel wasn't released halfway, and what do you think? Maybe to the general public or to the a loud audience. So we have a habit of now our condition for the immediate, and the patience of an artist to see their work to the end and then release it without an explanation needed unless asked. Here it is, and you can decipher or pull meaning from
So
it.
do you go through periods of self-evaluation?
I think that's a daily thing.
Yeah, but I mean more specifically when it comes to your aspirations as far as the creative process, the artistic process takes place in your life. And pretty much, we can ask this question can relate to really anyone because even with just only desires in place without
Mm-hmm.
any action, it's viable to call a person artistic or, so I mean, so that self-evaluation takes place in your life.
Yes, yes, it does. I think it
Can you
needs.
describe it a little bit? Just
If I think it is having enough self-awareness to see your actions, your words, your inactions, or lack of speaking up, to evaluate daily, weekly, monthly, yearly how you where you're going, or how do you really feel about your day job or your medium of choice, any aspect. So then you have to course correct, uh, or do something. You have to do something about that if you find yourself not fulfilled or happy, um, and that is the evaluation. This I like what I'm doing. I'm going to keep pursuing this. I like these people. I'm going to keep put my energy in. I'm going to invest into people or activities or the. And I guess you have to wait for the outcome as well.
yeah,
You can change, but you don't know where it's going to lead. You could go down the wrong path
yeah,
for a short time. Self-evaluating or evaluating would be, uh, how quickly do you catch it? How quickly do you take notice that it's working
yeah.
or not working?
And I can refine my wonderings by saying that the uh, I find it almost impossible to stand a chance to clarify who you are in the in your um, desire to exhibit your end result of your artistic process journey. Because it's always the aspirations of the other, the aspiration of the whole, the aspiration of society, the point of reference that you cannot find a way to uh, reside outside of it, and therefore be independent in your own doings.
Well, you are there to critique it as well.
Yes.
I think the strongest point, or one of the strongest points, is that you are taking on a responsibility to stand outside a
Yeah.
little bit and critique it and give your opinion, as if you feel your opinion is uh, warranted to be expressed on a grander scale. But
Yeah.
um, so, from satire, um, I mean, comedy, stand up, uh, you are looking into society. You're taking note of nuances or little bit of uh, persuasions that we are faced with, and on some level throwing it back
Yeah.
for a conversation,
Yes.
for a new thought, and hopefully.
And you need someone in your life to tell you that. My mentor, Janet Leigh, used to come and tell me, when I come and tell you you're talking too much, it's not because you're talking too much or not, it's because you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it mysterious. Keep them guessing. It's not your role to explain to people things that they need to figure out themselves.
Right.
And I thought that was
Breadcrumbs.
awesome. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome, especially because it came from a person that I look up to. And I said, if she says that, of course. But I used to realize that the task is much more difficult than I thought because, of course, we don't live in an isolated bubble. We look right and left, and people can be very vicious, knowingly or not, unknowingly, directly or indirectly, and crush you. And I remember that the analogy that I built in my head, it's like when I first started painting and people were coming with these remarks that I couldn't even find the ability to relate to it. I just was influenced by their gestures, body gestures, energy.
Well, the same with your father and his
Yeah,
face.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I didn't wait for clarification of what I just heard and then find that it hurt my feelings. Just instantly, I felt like, why is this person pushing me, stabbing
Yeah.
you, like pushing me away? Like he doesn't even know me. How about give me a hug? Then we'll start separating.
Yeah. Handshake.
Yeah,
Please.
do the union, the blending, and then we'll start separate, if at all, or maybe get closer. So, so I would say, how about if I can just instantly build this wonderful bodybuilder body with 8 here and everything. And so next time when you come and see me and you will be so intimidated by my physique that you will forget that you came to critique something that has nothing to do with the way I look. So
you want a distraction.
Yeah, distraction.
Yeah.
So that distraction came in. Well, if I was trying to look very microscopically on what is it that I'm really good at? Where's my strength coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that my number one quality was work ethics. I'm just insanely devoted and adamant. And I mean, I have a plan that I created myself and I follow the plan. And it's just relentless. So I said, I'll bring that into the equation of art.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring it like I know what I'm doing.
Your confident aspect.
And I'm going to work like crazy and brushes, paint, canvas. I got everything I need. It's a no-brainer. And then I brought into the equation my ability to, I used to, when I write poetry or play music and I find it difficult and I play jazz or freestyle, whatever, and then I realize, I'm lost. Oh my God, I'm going to lose it. Everything's going to fall apart in 2 seconds from now. What am I going to do? So pretending like I am just like, I used to pretend that I'm an artist and I'm painting with a brush in my mouth, a brush in my hand. Really. And then I learned the second stage of that secret that I need to keep a straight face through the process. A straight face, like really finish it.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to finish something. Look how funny it is. You're trying to finish something that usually you don't, you begin and you don't, by trying to begin something that you won't finish. You're trying to teach yourself how to finish something by starting something that you don't finish either.
That you haven't finished yet.
So you add another layer of disability into a disability that you want to fix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's crazy. Don't you think it's crazy? So now I say, okay, so I want then, okay, so I had a task, that first task, and I want your reaction to this. I created whatever, let's say, the first, second, third year. I said, people don't really expect you. For example, when I sent my first invitation to my art show, the first art show was a solo show. And A, people didn't know me as an artist. B, they thought there was a mistake there. They thought that it's a group show.
Okay.
So they didn't really look. They looked and saw, but they didn't figure out this is what it is. They blocked it. They suppressed it. So when they came to the show, to Ashwa Hall, the first thing they asked is, which painting is yours?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my answer was, which is not. But anyway, so I realized that I need to continue with solo exhibitions no matter what. That means volume. I need to create. It doesn't matter, beautiful, small, large. So I would create 60, 70, 80 pieces from all directions. And I would hire someone that I can trust with me. Let's put it, let's curate, enthusiasm. And then everybody comes and they're frozen.
Were they overwhelmed?
That's it. And it takes much longer for the process of thawing that freeze. So that means they will still go and have that as a fact in their life, being frozen long after they leave the gallery. You follow what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it won't be digested until.
So what are they going to, what is their reaction going to be, do you think? What are they going to relate to as they're frozen in that first impact entering the gallery?
Probably everyone else's same initial frozen response.
Yeah, you would say.
So
you would wonder, how is it possible? How
you look next to the person next to you, and
there's no room to talk about art in this scenario.
No.
There's no discussion. You would wonder, well, what the heck is going on here? How does he have the time? And what is this? What's going on here?
Well,
they would walk around saying, what's going on here?
Did you, was this, you were talking about bodybuilding or having your defense up? And I guess the overwhelming, if you can't build your muscles to intimidate, you just covered the walls to intimidate.
These are the So they would have to clear that before they become critics of the art or relating to the art to begin with. They would have to go through the motion of trying to figure out, technically speaking, what is going on here.
Well, that gives you more time to not hear their opinion.
Yes, and
that
to
you might not like.
Keep them busy and saying, whatever it's, and I realized that I remember once in Jerusalem that I did a big show in a Yellow Submarine, a very big place, and I always wanted to invite this vicious critic that used to decimate everyone, and he used to have a column in the paper that no one could understand. This is before AI. He was in the AI, the premature AI. He was writing in ways that no one could understand, but he was making sure that people will understand the part of it that describes how this artist is up to no good. That is clear.
Right.
So I invited him, and I did a production that 99% of it wasn't about art, even though there was art all over the place. And it worked because he came and I saw him and I ignored him, avoided him because I was scared. And he was running in circles. And then he came to me, he didn't even say anything. He just did this. He just did this. So
you got him.
and then I realized, my God, so what about all the others that don't have that energy, that ability to bypass that which will crush them and leave such a supposedly deadly mark on them, or devastating mark?
Well, I would say that's.
And you must admit it's realistic what I'm describing somewhat here.
To the ego, realistically, there's nothing being said would be devastating. I would hope that going back to your bodybuilder, and you're saying people will see me, so you did the performance distraction. They don't have to look at you. They look at everything that's going on around. And that protects your ego. That protects your heart. And everyone let's say people critiquing you or you've critiqued and they're hurt by these words when that's not the intention, is I guess the ego getting in the way of trying to help each other, trying to, you know, in a small community.
What if ego is not under discussion here? What if we can leave it aside, for example? Then what are we talking about? Just basic human qualities, sensitivities, emotions, feelings, just genuine emotions and feelings. So what if we were to kind of put it aside? What are we going to be left with?
Well, it's not. It would be your soul. It would be your. You said this body, me, but this isn't. Your body isn't you.
And it's temporary. This body. It's
just it's a vessel.
Melt away instantly after this gathering is over.
Yeah. So it's not trying to showcase the material world, and when we are critiqued, or I guess critiqued, it's a strong word, but attacked on the material. And I would think as an artist, you want people to look beyond the material. You want them to look beyond you. When they look at you, they don't see you for your perfections, imperfections. They look at the art to see you. And if it's not understood, then you feel it's a personal attack, and it's devastating because you're pouring out your soul to attempt to express it for others to relate, for others to understand. And it's a vulnerability. It's could just be the kid in all of us who wants to pursue that passion, who's doing it, who's then being told, I don't get it. This is silly. This is And
this is what I think and feel when you apply to an art school, that they have only 100 entry. 10,000 entries, and only to choose 100 out of the 10,000. I always thought that the least that they can do, that all the 9,900 of them should get this congratulation note for not being accepted because of the obvious reasons, like, and then it will spell all the reasons. You don't have to go through all this crap of us telling you what's right, what's wrong, how to go about it, and then the 100 that were accepted, they should get a note of, unfortunately, you were accepted to the program. You follow what I'm saying? You're going to have to go through a lot of crap, and with no guarantee you're going to succeed for about anything.
Right. So, well, what if on the rejection notice they told you exactly what they felt was, they gave you an individual critique?
No, that will add salt to the wound.
No. I mean, maybe a teen, yes, going into college, but you got to get past that.
The professor should have a 2-minute conversation with you and said, "We're a bunch of losers. Didn't you get it so far? Give me a hug, man. Go. You're good to go." That's all you need.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, be theatrical. It's okay. Be theatrical. Tell him. You don't understand what you went through. I commend you for actually going through that, submitting, wanting, saying, I want to be a part of that. That's your greatest achievement right there. So from here, it's downhill. Enjoy that.
But that's not.
Yeah, of course. Then, because it's up to you. When I was in the army, I remember that the first 6 or 7 months of training, if you wanted to talk to your commander, like have a conversation, something bothers you, whatever, you were granted, but after midnight.
Okay.
So that means you will have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So now you have to lose sleep, and you're already.
Is it worth it? Yeah.
So I would go, and as soon as I want to open my mouth, he said, "Hold on, Haim. You know what I see when I look at you? I see a commander that's going to change contribute. I see a person with vision, and before you know it, I forgot
Exactly.
what I was there. Then I realized when we had a few minutes to talk to my other friends and all this, he says, "So how was it with the so and so?"
Same thing.
I said, he told me that he said the same thing to
Yep.
me.
Yep. I don't want to hear it. You're great.
Yeah, and you're going to be the
You're the
commander in
best.
chief.
Yep.
You're this. I see you made out of materials that are this and that.
Who doesn't want to hear
But
that?
you know what? It worked.
Yeah.
It worked because I felt like, okay, you know what? For him, he's a war machine, an independent war machine in the shape of a human being. And he doesn't have to do that. He can say, okay, get it over. You have 15 seconds or whatever. But he took the time to play that game, something very emotional and human.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went back to my unit, I could afford to be a little bit of a bad boy, but because I knew that I'm really powerful.
It puffed you up.
Yeah, and then suddenly it was noticeable, and suddenly my other commander would address the platoon through my last name, like Mizrahi, tell this and whatever, things like that. So it's all coming together. But what about all those that stand no chance because they don't have the understanding that these qualities are important to be able to evaluate and therefore value what just took place? So that means even if someone comes to you and say, "How long did it take you to make this painting?" And all you want to do is slap him and say, "What's with this question?"
Mm-hmm.
You as an artist can say that you're insulting me by asking this question. Don't you have a better question to ask? Like what governed my emotion? Yeah, but the thing is,
that's exactly opposite of what your commander did to you.
Correct. but the thing is, you don't do that. You don't slap him.
No,
you don't
you
do.
don't.
You're civil. You say, "Well, why don't you tell me?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?" Or whatever.
Well, why don't you tell him the truth?
Oh, because I don't know how long it took me. Okay, you know
it
what?
Took me 5 years. It took me 5 years from the time I had this idea to now. It's been a decade.
But guess what? So one day I was sobered by someone that came and asked many times about this, and I said, "I don't know, really. I really don't know. But I really don't know." And one day I said, "Okay, it took me about 80 hours to do it." So he looks at me and he says, "You know what? I don't even think you did it. I don't think you painted it."
Well, that was the real.
Exactly.
That was the real part. Yeah.
So I looked at him and I said, "You know what? I think you're a troublemaker, and I can see a troublemaker a mile away. But I won't say that I won't answer your questions if you have another question. You keep on asking the same frigging question, and I don't have it within me to understand what resides behind this need to know how long it took me to. What is it going to change your mind if I say 2 hours or 200 hours? I don't understand that. Talk to me about really what it took emotionally and spiritually and technically to face all these obstacles and challenges. And then how many paintings did I do at the same time? Do I paint one at a time, 10 at a time? What's the drying time? What's the limitations of the process itself? And how is the end result influenced by these limitations? Ask me real questions. I will be more than happy to answer. But to tell me, why are you using this red directly out of the tube and not mix it and all this? I said, another genius is born. Well, I mean, what kind of a thing is it to say? Because I love this red. And because I love this red, specific red that comes out of the tube. And I said, my God, I found the red that I don't have to mix because it's already mixed.
Maybe these people do not. Okay, I have to take that back. These people might not understand any of the what they're looking at, process, colors, and they want to talk to you, and they don't know how. If I were to try,
I love your approach. I love your.
if I'm going to talk to an aerospace engineer about what I'm looking at in front of me in his workshop, I do not know the terminology or what I could really say to impress through a question. I don't know what to say. And you're saying maybe you're already intimidating them. Let's just say because of of what they see on the wall or what they're so they don't know what to say. They'll look at you and say, why did you pick this size frame? Just to get in the door of conversation.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're all ready to. You want the best, the highest fruit first.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But also would like to think that there's someone out there that will tell you, will come to you and give his opinion by describing to you what he thinks you did.
It's
That's
true, but that's not
awesome.
everybody. That
Yes,
won't be. It's
but that shouldn't be a problem or a difficulty for someone to. I wonder about the human psyche when I have my art shows.
they might be threatened, so
Yeah, yeah.
they come with the
But also
question.
when I go and see others work, I
Mhm.
would say, I commend you for this and that, and I say, and he says, oh, you noticed it.
Right,
So right
but
there,
you're in the
it's a beginning and the end of the conversation, so to speak, so we can talk about other things that has nothing to do with the art itself.
well. You cut through everything because you know
Yeah,
if
yeah. No, I don't know about that because I'm willing to pay attention.
you know more. If we're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
art or yeah,
But also, I feel something that I shouldn't feel. I feel like I'm wrong in feeling the way I do, meaning about others. Maybe be more compassionate about how they feel, and I try to understand them more rather than relate to their reaction
hmm
and feel hurt or not because they're talking about my work and about my. So I'm
so,
trying to learn about the psychology that behind all of this. So
well, tact
yeah, yeah,
comes into play
yes, absolutely.
where you're saying the embrace first, handshake, hug, or
But now I give the answers. You ask me how long, I say 17 hours. That's it. Whatever.
right. You want it, you got it.
Yes,
Next one, next person.
yes. The next online.
Yes.
Next. Okay, let me just mention we're sitting here with Ryan Duff on Saturday morning, November 23rd, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello show. And I wanted to change. We have maybe 12 minutes or something like that left. A little bit about the how we can or should um, export our experience in that of that immediate vicinity of creativity, the boiling part of that which defines uh, the real moments of action and passion and everything, all this into the daily life, into, like I said, I mentioned politics. Like, I always wonder uh, how you can have people that you know, and then when you talk about certain subjects, suddenly the entire world is changing. Suddenly, reactions, demeanor, character, personalities, just like changing from end to end. Suddenly, from a quiet hum into a boiling fire, and suddenly there's no control. You have no control to say, okay, wait, I want to take it back. Let's bring it back here, and then we can start afresh and all this. What do you think is happening to us as a group? I don't even want to say country, state,
It's the world.
nation,
It's the world.
as a group of people here. Then we happen to live in a wonderful country, really. I mean, I don't care how much people want to describe how bad it is because Bush was the president or Clinton was the president or this was attempt to be the president. I always say, if the system is working and it allows someone to be elected, let that person govern, period. That's all there is to it. That's the only thing we can do.
hmm
And I don't think that just because you don't vote, you don't have the right to place an opinion, because not voting is a description of an opinion.
Correct.
But
Yes.
so uh, how do where do we stand, do you think, in that sense? What I mean, I would love to hear your opinion about that.
I think as a species, we've learned how to control and manipulate ourselves and others, and we've got it down to a science. And I guess in the past,
Why is it not working?
it is working for some people. It is working. the commercials work, the songs work, the uh, media works. Everything's working as it should to people who don't wish to think outside, or haven't been taught to, or are unaware that they have a larger vocabulary and a larger perspective, that they are that people will go for the easiest. Well, we're emotional beings, so a lot of it is being played on our emotions. A lot of it's being played on our sympathies. A lot of it's being played off of. Played off of our sympathies, played off of compassion, and we can, or it's been turned into anger and frustration, and people don't know how to control themselves. We've evolved to a point where we are aware and we can regulate our emotions, or at least take a moment and not punch someone in the face or scream and yell, and we can, but we're not. We are not. I feel like we've kind of been overexposed or a little beaten down with quantity and not quality, and people are kind of giving up. They're switching off to reach a higher consciousness or a higher self, or their best, and they're allowing the lower, be it vibrations, the lower emotions to take over. So there's certain phrases that are used that we then regurgitate, that are then triggering, jingles, slogans, and they're hammered into our day to day. They're in the background when you're ordering lunch. They're on the radio in the car. They're when you want to check out from the job you don't like during the day. They are there. So if someone is not aware of that, then it will control the psyche. It will
take over. Yeah.
And you might say a point. I hear a lot. People will regurgitate what I hear on TV, or I don't own a TV. I haven't. I don't know, 10 years. I will listen to the radio.
Welcome to the club, by the way.
Thank you.
Even though we're on TV station here.
I know.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, it's not TV. It's just a monitor here. Mm-hmm. I'm faking it here.
These are all for your personal.
Yeah, just hello, for the show. But yeah, regulate your emotions, like you said. Regulate your feelings.
Well, you notice that people have the same responses or the same.
Oh yeah, slogans. Yes, absolutely.
And people don't understand that the opposing side, the quote unquote opposing side, has the same vitriol, the same negativity towards you as you do towards them. So there's a lack of awareness that who's pulling the strings, who's behind the curtain.
Definitely, and I'm gonna have to stop you now because we have only 1 minute. So
sure.
I'm hoping that we're gonna have the chance to meet again. And this is just scratching the surface. This is just kind of understanding what the configuration of this gathering between you and I is all about. Ryan Duff is here with us this morning. We're going to be here tomorrow, as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here this morning, as I mentioned, Saturday morning, November 23rd, 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. And Ryan, I really mean it by saying that this stage is open. Public access stems from that wonderful privilege of having a stage available to people to express themselves like we do right now. No boundaries, just that stability and point of reference that is focused and balanced, and more of the same, of that goodness is going back to the first statement I said, enhances our chances of survival, even though I'm going to come up with a different word next time we meet to replace survival. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate it.